Next fight.
This school of Hard Knocks fight is an amateur bout in the 135-pound division and is brought to you by D&D Oilfield Rentals, Hard Knocks official cage movers. And now, let's meet the fighters.
Coming down to the cage, next up is Nequoyah Joseph Sethi. And Nequoyah comes to us out of Toronto Nogi in Toronto, Ontario, 135 pounds. This fight is at. Comes to us making his debut, 27 years old, stands 5'11", and is looking to really excite the Hard Knocks fans.
Well, he mentioned that he doesn't come all the way from Toronto to put on a bad fight. And he has some experience with Muay Thai and as a no-gi jiu-jitsu fighter, and thinks that his skill set is good enough to compete against BJ Baldonado.
On both of these fighters coming to us with grappling tournaments recently. Nequoyah was in a Toronto grappling tournament and had not been submitted in his 3 fights. On the other side, BJ Baldonado, a world championship quarterfinalist in jiu-jitsu. So both of these fighters, we may see this one go to the ground and see some submissions. In talking to Nequoyah, he said an interesting thing to me. He said he doesn't want to be known as the best pound-for-pound fighter in MMA. He doesn't want to be known as the best all-around fighter. He wants to be known as the most violent fighter in MMA, and he intends to come out and finish and put on a good show.
Well, and we'll see how he can go forward. Again, the rules for Nequoyah are going to be a little bit different here with the commission in Calgary. With the no strikes of a downed opponent to the head, of course, knees and elbows to the head are not allowed. So you look at sticking within the rules, and you mentioned earlier knowing those rules and knowing how to use them to your advantage. And hopefully Nequoyah can adapt his game to be able to do that.
I started training MMA just over a year ago. Said growing up his mom didn't want him in competitive sports, and that just drove him to competitive sports as an adult, and saw Hard Knocks Fighting on the Fight Network and thought that he needed to get into the cage. And so he contacted Hard Knocks Fighting, and now he is in here 1 year later. Nequoyah Joseph Sethi making his amateur debut as we await his opponent.
And his opponent.
Now coming down to the cage, no stranger to the Hard Knocks fans, is BJ Baldonado out of the Gracie Baja Gym here in Calgary. 1-1 as an amateur. Again, a very accomplished ground fighter is BJ Baldonado, 36-6-1 as a grappler in grappling matches, and that includes getting to the quarterfinals in the World Jiu-Jitsu Championships.
Yeah, very accomplished is BJ Baldonado, coming out of a gym that where he trains underneath Josh Russell, who in himself is a very skilled jiu-jitsu practitioner, and looking again to live up to the expectations of the Gracie Baja Gym. One of those gyms, like Arashido that we mentioned before, that has a very good record here in the Hard Knocks cage. And, he lost his first fight, but came back and won at Hard Knocks 22 and was able to improve all aspects of his game. And now looks to see against a good opponent, game opponent in Nequoyah Joseph Sethi.
Yeah, he says that submission is going to be his win of choice. We know well here that the Gracie Baja guys like their arm bars. Chris Maddock, a well-known armbar specialist, as well as several other fighters that we've seen come out of Gracie winning their fights via armbar. So BJ Baldonado will look to continue that as he steps into the cage tonight. Gives up a bit of height to Nequoyah Sethi, who finds himself, again, a much smaller package. But as we've talked about, sometimes that smaller package, you can pack a little more weight in, and you can use that to an advantage when you get down to the ground.
And now, the official Hard Knocks fighter introductions. In the blue corner for the Calgary Roughnecks Lacrosse, think inside the box. It's his amateur debut. He's 27 years old and stands 5 feet, 11 inches tall. He weighed in at 135 pounds. fighting out of Toronto, Nogi from Toronto. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, Nequoyah Joseph Sethi. And in the red corner for Pete the Plumber, hero of plumbing. He's 1-1 as an amateur, 32 years old, and stands 5 feet, 5 inches tall. He weighed in at 134 pounds, fighting out of Gracie, Baja from Calgary. Please welcome Hard Knocks fighter, BJ Baldonado. This bout will be contested under amateur rules. The referee in charge of the Hard Knocks action is Mr. Len Coivisto.
Len Coivisto in charge as BJ Baldonado comes out of the red corner in the black trunks, the blue and yellow Muay Thai shorts for Nequoyah Sethi as these two fighters get set to meet in the center of the cage. Hard Knocks 29 live from Century Casino in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Again, Baldonado gives up about 3 or 4 inches in height. Comes in with a big right hand to set up the takedown and gets it. Moves away, trying to pass.
Good active defense, good legs here by Nequoyah Sethi. And now able to pass is BJ Baldonado, and this is where he wanted to work. This is why he said he wanted to work his wrestling, to get the fighting to the ground where he could work his jiu-jitsu from a top position.
Baldonado continuing to work from the top. Looking to move and almost looked like he was going for a knee bar there, Jeremy.
Yeah, well, arm bar, knee bar, same thing. No, it's definitely he was going for a knee bar, but as they're normally
Punch
going
to the
for
head of a downed opponent. The referee doesn't catch it. A quick tap. Nequoyah Sethi taps to the rear naked choke. He was looking for a timeout after a punch to the head. The mouth guard popped out. Sethi upset, but this fight is over, and BJ Baldonado will be your winner. I'm sure we'll be able to see it on the replay here.
A very upset Nequoyah Sethi, and again, we'll look at a replay here, and this is just after the fight.
We'll jump back here momentarily. And again, BJ Baldonado gets the win.
Well, as it stands now, again, here is the replay. We're going to have a look and see what Nequoyah was upset about, and he did get hit, and he was talking to the official. Now, the thing that's important about MMA is you always have to be aware and wait till the official calls it. We have the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the Shaw GMC Tough Trucks Hard Knocks 29 official decision, brought to you by D&D Oilfield Rentals. The winner by rear naked choke at 1 minute and 4 seconds in the very first round, in the red corner, BJ Baldonado.
BJ Baldonado now 2-1.
BJ,
he's with Ryan.
I'll get you here in the center of the cage. Second time in a row we've got to talk after a fight. You came in, you secured the quick takedown, and you used your jiu-jitsu to get the finish.
Well, I told you I was working on my wrestling. I got a good team, they make sure I'm ready. We just work hard at the gym, so.
Why don't you walk us through the finish up here on the big screen?
He's got long legs, so it's kind of hard to pass him his guard. That's why I got into this position and I was trying to pin down his hips. And just raining down some punches here, getting open up a bit. And finally he moved, I took side mount, and he rolled onto his knees, and I took the choke.
So 2 straight wins now. Safe to say we'll see you back in the Hard Knocks cage pretty quick.
I always look for the next challenge, so we'll see.
I'm sure you got coaches, other coaches and sponsors to thank.
No sponsors, but I got a great team, man. I got a good family. I want to thank them first. My wife and kids at home, letting me train and do what I need to do to be in here. And the guys like BJ Baldonado, coach, Josh Russell, get to make sure we're ready. I got good corners. Yeah, everyone at Grace Bar is a family. We take care of each other. We look out for each other.
So what you're saying is there's room for sponsors too.
I didn't really think about it for this one, but maybe the next fight.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it one more time for your winner, BJ Baldonado.
So BJ Baldonado pushing his record to 2-1.